This is the Seller Process Podcast, where we talk about the best systems, processes, and SOPs for your Amazon business so that you can regain control of your time, build up your team, and scale your e-com empire.
Hello, entrepreneurs. If you are extremely tempted by joining the TikTok shop bandwagon after seeing the impressive results other brands like yours are getting, but you don't know where to start, then this episode is for you. Our guest today will share with us all the core elements you will need to incorporate in your business to properly launch and scale a TikTok shop. Today, I'm joined by Graeme Paddock, who, together with his partner Rafe, has started, scaled, and exited multiple businesses on TikTok. And together they co-founded the Uptick. They empower business owners with all the skills necessary to successfully drive top-of-funnel marketing awareness. The Uptick is an implementation mentoring program that helps you install plug-and-play systems to lay a solid foundation to confidently scale your brand leveraging TikTok. Hey, Graeme, good to see you here. How are you?
What a wonderful introduction. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Awesome. So I know we have lots to cover, and this is the hottest topic there is now, right? TikTok. So I would like to start with making sense of this buzzword because everybody's talking about TikTok. So why don't we start with sharing with people why should Amazon sellers or e-commerce sellers even consider selling on TikTok? And what can they expect if they're actually nailing it and doing it right?
Good question. And well, there's a few things to address there around why TikTok, but also the benefits from it. And obviously I can speak from my own experience as well as those in our community. I think if you go back a step and think about Amazon, if that's your current main sales platform, about who your customer truly is. And that customer is a bottom of funnel purchase decision, see, find, buy, in the fact that no one goes to Amazon and look for a certain keyword, which you may be paying for with PPC or organics, unless they already had a purchasing decision. So with those buyers, whether it's through Amazon, even Shopify, Google SEO, you're always looking at buyers in those platforms that already have a purchasing decision. Where TikTok is essentially not a sales platform. It's an education and entertainment platform that now has hit 180 million users in the US, for example. So more than half the population. But by educating and entertaining, you become automatically top of funnel awareness. So I speak to a lot of brands around how many people would buy your product if you were top of mind, but even better, how many people would buy your product if they actually knew you existed? Because this is the thing right now. So many people out there just don't know you exist. It's not they wouldn't buy you, but even with all the money you might spend with PPC, all you're doing is trying to get to the top of a pool that already have a purchasing decision. So top of funnel awareness, and because I love TikTok, but not so much for the platform, it's for the fact I know that's where the attention is. 180 million people in America using right now, number one social platform in the world. If the attention's there, that's where I spend my concentration. So I think that's a great reason. Look, obviously, those in the Amazon game understand around your fancy insert cards to try and build your own email list. It's because you're trying to build your own client base. You don't have these issues with TikTok, of course, in the fact that when you start building your business through TikTok shop, yes, you build your own email list that you can retarget to, that you can send to new launches. There's lots of stuff that you can do. So building your own email list as part of that avenue makes sense because you're building an overall better business. A couple of other things which, until you get to sort of these levels or pull these levers, you're not aware of. And to be honest with you, I wasn't either, because my background is I had always D2C businesses, but I'd never done a B2B. And multiple of our clients have now branched out and have their brand in Target, Walmart, TJ Maxx. But they've actually got in their contracts that if they can hit certain pillars with their social awareness, from there, they then earn the right to get higher orders wholesale. These are fantastic things. I actually didn't know until, like I said, I got involved with people in my community and started coaching them. But basically, the bigger retailers, they want to see that you're pushing your brand from a social presence that they might, hey, I might just drop into Walmart, or TJ Maxx or Target to go and buy this, because of course, while you're in there buying that product, what else would you buy from that retailer? So there is a whole avenue there, which again is just fantastic to have. Look, early adopters, probably another one, which I wasn't in Amazon in 2010, but people who were tell me like TikTok Shop is like Amazon in 2010. There's just so many things that you can move forward with super fast without all the red tape that is available, obviously, now with Amazon. And I think the last thing to finish up, which I've got top of mind, is understanding halo effect. So until you get into the game, this is something you wouldn't be aware of, but TikTok Shop is great. But it's understanding it flows from TikTok. Things go viral on TikTok. It doesn't flow from Amazon. So people don't go to Amazon, see your listing, and be like, I'll go buy that on TikTok Shop. But it does work the other way, where it's like, I saw it on TikTok. Yeah, it's on the shop, but you know what? I just wasn't ready then. But I've seen that brand everywhere. What was that brand again? Look, I'll just go buy it through Amazon because it's next day delivery. At the same time, I've got returned if there's an issue. People will buy where they choose to buy in habits. So if I'm an Amazon user, like rather than shop, I'll just go buy it on Amazon. Most of our clients see a 15 to 25% halo effect in regards to organic increase across all their brands, all their platforms, purely from TikTok. So these like 4 or 5 things I had top of mind, but that gives you an overview around why I'm so passionate about TikTok with that, what I just mentioned.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it is actually very exciting because as all the reasons you mentioned are very valid reasons to seriously consider start selling on TikTok, even if you are only focused on Amazon, because as you said, there is that halo effect that brings sales back to Amazon. So it's a very good complementary channel, not just a new standalone channel. So in your activity with your business, of course, you guys train sellers to sell successfully on TikTok. So you mentioned before this call, you mentioned that you guys developed a specific strategy, like your own strategy that includes like 5 core components. So let's dive into that because I think there's really a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, sure thing. So, of course, look, there's more than these 5 core components. However, through experience, I would confidently say that we've tested and invested in enough to know that you need to get these 5 pillars correct before moving forward. And that's not only with our own brands, obviously with those that we coach, but our background, we work for multiple aggregators and still do contract that when they acquire brands, they want to like, right, I want to get movement through TikTok. What I'm going to talk about now with these 5 pillars is exactly the first 5 things we do every single time. So number one would be understanding which product you're going to concentrate on first. And this is, yes, if you're launching, but even if you've already sort of like got TikTok and running and you saw a few there and everywhere, I would highly encourage you to just retool backwards and stick to these 5 pillars. So what I see very common is people think, I've got a suite of products, I'm going to put them all up and let the public decide and figure out which one's best. That is the wrong way to go about it. So if you have done that, go back down to 1, maybe 2 products. So the 1 or 2 products that you want to pick to go with TikTok may not necessarily be the ones that you've got the most revenues from in regards to your Amazon sales at the moment, because they're different marketplaces. So the one you want to choose for TikTok is a couple of things. The most important is, what is the most visually demonstrative and does it have a before and after? They're the 2 key things we look at. I mentioned to Gianmarco before, if you had an item in a color range that was black, for argument's sake, you could show that. But then as people are scrolling through, if you also had in the same range, it could be simply color, the same product in a pink color, I guaranteed scrolling would stop because it's eye-catching. It's like, what's this pink item? So curiosity wins. So these are simple things around what is the most demonstrative visually. So not the best materials, not the best looking. It's like, what captures things out? And if we think about TikTok and think about some of the best converting ads on TikTok or even TikToks themselves, which become the best meta performing ads because they repurpose them, they're always raw, rugged, like a little bit off-putting, controversial. It's never just like a perfect Instagram ad. So what is the showstopper? So within your range, number 1, yes, what is the most demonstrative? And the second piece is, if possible, do you have a product that you can show either physically or some sort of emotion about a before and after? So with a skincare cream, what can you show before my skin was like this, but after it's like this? Do you have a product where It may be a tool. So it's like, right, beforehand, I was trying to get by with X, Y, Z, but once I found this tool, it made everything so much easier. So before and after is something you want to show people because, again, they're there for education and entertainment. When you see a transformation, it is educating and entertaining, but at the same time, as I mentioned earlier, you're making people aware of things that I didn't even know this existed. And this solves a problem I didn't even realize I had. So they're the two core pillars I would say to start off with. One or two products only, demonstrative, and yes, before and after, emotionally or physically.
Okay. Yeah, very, very interesting. And it's actually very good to know because it's counterintuitive. Maybe Amazon sellers have that view that the more products you sell in the marketplace, the more revenue you make. That's usually kind of like a basic rule for marketplace sellers. But again, TikTok is not really a marketplace. So as you said, you need to focus only on those like social media worthy type of products. So that's definitely,
I think the other key, yeah, definitely. The other core component about not having too many products is most people understand in marketing it's 7 to 10 times and you need to be seen to go from top of funnel to I know you exist and potentially a purchase. TikTok is 5.4, not only because of the 180 million users, but also the average time spent is 2 hours and 13 minutes. So because of the cadence people are actually watching the short form content, 5.4 is the amount of time that you need to be seen. But what happens, it dilutes your brand by showing all these different products because it takes so much longer to get to the 5.4 versus this brand is this product to start off with. Right. So with this brand, this product, we understand that, you know what, this solves my problem. And most importantly, I know I want to make a purchasing decision moving forward with things. So this is stuff, like I said, that again, it's just a different platform to understand. There's different metrics and levers to move you forward faster.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So different platform, different game, you need to play different rules. So definitely, yeah, now it makes sense after you explain it that way. Okay, so what about go to the second pillar?
Yeah. Second pillar would be something that we did ourselves actually as a test and got fantastic results that then we rolled out to our community is creating a UGC insert card, but rather than in a normal Amazon world, trying to actually get your email address and trying to build your own community. Yes, we're trying to build community, but we're trying to build community with raving fans. So because TikTok is so raw, generic connecting, some of the best content you'll actually get are from your customers, from your consumers, from your raving fans. So what we have is we create an insert card saying, hey, would you like to join the 10X family? I can see that behind you, but whatever your brand name is, your brand name family. And because less is more, and there's only simply a QR code, curiosity normally wins. They're like, let me just scan this. What's this join the family all about? So then it would take it to a landing page that you would create. You'd be like, you know what? Congratulations on your purchase. Hope you're loving the product. Would you like another free item for yourself or one of your family members? All you need to do is send us a video, maybe two, going for 30 to 45 seconds, holding the product, saying these three things, and having the product shown in these three different ways. Send it over to me, and like I said, happy, like I said, to get another product out to you. So what happens is you're actually not taking away their potential creativity because you don't want to give somebody and be like a robot to say X, Y, Z. You want them to say stuff that you might not have thought of and be like, that's fantastic. But you still want to give them a framework, like we always say, just show the product in these three ways and say these three things. Because with that consistency, once you build up your library, this also helps consumers go from top of funnel to bottom of funnel, where I'm like, I'm seeing this product everywhere and they're saying the same three things and showing the same three ways. You don't realize it, but this is actually how consumers, like I said, will go through a funnel process. But the biggest thing about it is normally it would be maybe $30, $50 landed would be your cost to send out another product for free. So for me, I'm like, to spend $30 to $50 to pay for UGC content, which most likely is going to be raw, rugged, and perfect for TikTok. Now, of course, not all of them are going to work, but I guarantee a lot of them will. For me, it's a great way to build up a library of UGC that you can use for your brand rather than always reaching out to affiliates, which of course you should do, and that's another process, but take advantage of your own community. So the second piece would be, that's the wrong word, but the second core component, we'll say, would be the UGC insert card. I've got fantastic results from it.
Okay, very interesting. What comes to my mind when I hear that it's understanding your lifetime value. So if you need to calculate that, hopefully people who are listening know how to do that. Otherwise, I highly suggest you guys to look it up on YouTube or on Google. You'll find lots of articles on how to calculate the lifetime value of your customers. And basically, if once you have that number in mind, you will understand whether you can afford to give away this prize or product that you're going to share with these people in exchange of a video. So that definitely is, if you manage to get a customer, a new customer, you need to get the video for less than your lifetime value of that customer, then it's a profitable exchange essentially. So
100%.
it's a
Yeah.
win-win in
And
this
it's an
case.
investment as well. Because the investment being that with normal UGC creators, if you worked out to them, I think this whole post for product is becoming more of a myth now as we move forward with things. Like when in early days, it was just, oh, it's just post for product. But no, it doesn't work like that anymore in regards to the Discords and communities that I work with actually create real engaging content. So because of that, most creators that you would then reach out to, you're going to spend anywhere from sometimes $100 to $250 for a piece of content you can repurpose. So for $50, it's actually much cheaper. And I guess the other thing, which again, I didn't realize until I got into this world and through results, is beforehand with content creators that you reach out to, they create content for you to repurpose for you. The difference is when you're finding your consumers, some of these people, yes, are creators, but not only do they give you the content to reuse, but they also post it on their own channels. Some people are proud to be like, hey, look what I did. So it's almost like free advertising through their own channels. And it's not so much that they're showing off your product, they're showing off themselves that, hey, I created this bit of content, they gave me it free. Oh, and how cool is this? And it's amazing how the wildfire can grow. So again, it's giving your chance of potential virality. And there's multiple ways to do it. But no, I'm a massive fan of the UGC insert card to build up your content library.
Very interesting. Yeah, just a quick, more practical question, where people are supposed to upload this video in your ideal funnel. Is it in your website, there's a form, you give a form, or how do you collect the video?
Yeah, so normally, like I said, we ask them to put it into a Google Drive and they send us the link.
Okay, makes sense. All right, yeah,
Yeah,
very
so
powerful. I think if the gift product is valuable enough to people to spend those 2-3 minutes to record the video, this is a super powerful weapon that every brand has in their arsenal. So yeah, definitely very,
the only
very
thing I would
useful.
reframe on top of that is just don't get caught up. Is my product valuable enough? I can promise you, some of your consumers would actually have done it for free if they actually had the opportunity. So if you feel like, oh, look, you know what, my product's really, it's only worth a $5 item, they're not going to do it for that. I would still do 1,000% because I guarantee you'll get people like, how cool is this? They would have done it for free anyway, rather than they just never had the opportunity. So you're giving them an avenue to express themselves as a potential content creator. So yeah, again, I'm probably harping on it, but I know the results it provides.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I believe the same. Yeah, I can tell that because we do get some UGC for free basically. Yeah, but this case, you will, even if we incentivize it, it would be really, really powerful. Yeah, interesting. Okay,
Oh,
so what's next then? The third pillar.
so number three ties into number two, in that with this insert card and going onto a landing page and would you like a free item? One thing that is core is that you don't want to take potential creators or your consumers' creativity away because you don't know what you don't know. So they could put something together for you like, I never thought of that. That's amazing. And with TikTok, everything's test, invest, scale. So what you want to do is not take away their creativity, but you do want to give them a framework to work in. So what we do is we say, look, we'd like you to say these three things and show the item in these three camera angles. That's it. And then everything else they can come up with their own creativity. But what happens is if you build your library up over, you said these three things, and at the same time you showed it in these three ways, as you actually build out your content library and you're putting this up through your own channels, through your feed on the platform itself, it drives consumer attention. You're like, hey, I'm seeing this product everywhere, all these people are using, and they're all saying the same three things. And those same three camera angles are driving the message. But to go a step back, you're like, but what are those three things? And what are those three camera angles? I'm new, I don't know. So the best thing we do is modeling. A rip off and duplicate is probably a bit more aggressive, but at the same time too, I'm all about learning from more successful people. So I would encourage people to go to kalodata.com, kalodata.com. No affiliation. It's just a great platform, great website, API plugin. If you think about Helium 10, Zon Guru, Jungle Scout for Amazon, Halo Data is that for TikTok Shop. So what you can do, you can go on there and you can be like, I'm going to go into Halo Data and I'm going to have a look at other brands or other, if you don't have products currently sold on TikTok Shop that you can reference, think about the problem space that your product lives in. Because if you have a kitchen product, for argument's sake, a different kitchen item is going to be the same avatar, the same journey as yours potentially. So what is the problem space my product lives in? Or even better, if brands or someone who's on there at the moment, but you can go in there, not only can you see how much money they've made, but you can also see those brands, which videos made how much, and the ones that made the most amount of money, I'd be going into and I would be deep diving. All right, now I'm not going to watch this for entertainment and education. Let me look at it. Let me see what the hook was. Let me see what the problem solution. What camera angles did they use? What lighting did they use? Did they use different sort of voices, like authority voices? So one thing that's very common is people would take a podcast clip of Joe Rogan, who has a very recognizable voice, and they would put it as part of their content because it stops people from scrolling when you hear Joe Rogan's voice, even though it's got nothing to do with your product. They reframe it into taking it through a journey. So these are different things that you will learn from. In the TikTok world, I am not interested in what worked 3 months ago, not even a month ago. I want to know what's working right now. And Halo Data is up to a week up to date, the last I knew. So for me, I can see what's working now. I can retool backwards. I can find these three things, three camera angles, and I can build that framework for my community that I'm going to create, not only with my UGC insert, other creators that I reach out to in future. That's the third pillar.
Very interesting, very interesting. I think this is a process that some people might be familiar, those who are working with social media ads. Maybe it might be a similar process to create Facebook ads, for example, or Instagram ads, but obviously you need to give it the right spin to TikTok, researching other popular and ads that work well and create your own version of it. Yeah, but
Correct.
definitely,
But only
yeah.
research TikTok. Do not go on Instagram or Meta and be like, oh, these ads look amazing. I'm going to reframe that for TikTok. It doesn't work that way. TikTok can be repurposed on other platforms, but repurposed content from Instagram and Meta, even if it was crushing it, does not work on TikTok because it's seen as too much of an ad. That's why TikTok slogans is don't make ads, make TikToks, because nobody wants to be sold to. But I promise you on TikTok is a platform that they won't let you sell to their clients. If your content never seems like you're selling, you're dead. They'll put you a bucket you won't get out of. So that's why it's important to model what's working on TikTok, not on other platforms.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. It's based on its own. There is a steep learning curve, of course, on
Yeah.
TikTok, but it's definitely worth it because it's like a new phenomenon, like you mentioned, Amazon like 10 years ago. It's getting that big and it's very relevant. So definitely worth the effort. Okay, feel free to go to the next one.
Sure. Number 4 of our 5 core components would be another website called answerthepublic.com. Again, no affiliation, just a great website to gain information. Everything we do in the business is around data. There's no luck, there's no have a go. It's around what works, proven over and over again. And that's where these core components come into it. So if I frame it in the fact that if we think about our affiliates, our content creators, all the content they create is around CTAs, call to actions around our product. And it's done in a way, as I just mentioned before, where you're not actually selling, you're just taking people on a journey, problem, solution, what's the hook, where I bought it from, whatever it might be. So they run all the CTAs, but on your own channel. And this is very important because as a brand, you need to have your own TikTok channel. You need to be consistently posting on there, but you need to be posting everything about the awareness space, going back to problem space that my product lives in. Nothing on CTA, nothing on where to buy, no flash sales, none of that, never sell. You just want to answer the questions that is being asked by your potential avatar because that's how your content will actually go out to them. But again, like Halo Data, how do I know the kind of questions or what sort of things that my avatar would want to know about this problem space that I can talk about, that I can then obviously bring my brand into it? So a good example would be a commercial years ago. I remember that if we visualize, there was a lady that gets out of bed. It's obviously like, you know what, she's a business lady, but gets out, it's pouring rain outside, but she wants to go for a run. She grabs her jacket, she grabs her shoes, opens the front door, and then there's this silence. You get like this big, deep breath before she runs. It's like, all right, let's do this. And then she goes for a run. The camera goes on her face, and it's like the rain's pouring in on her face, but she's still pushing through it. Gets home, and then you see her open the front door, take the shoes and jacket off, throw it in the corner, and then out of the corner of the camera, you see her run upstairs to have a shower and go off to work. At the end of the commercial, it just says, Nike, we're with you, right? Nothing about the shoes, nothing about the jacket, just about the problem space. And the biggest thing you would remember that from that commercial is that moment of silence where it's like that breath. It's like that moment, I'm with you. This is like a great example of the sort of content you need to build for your brand. You want to build emotion, you want to build problem solution, you want to build a brand around in this space, in this problem area. This is a brand that I affiliate solving that problem for me. Now, there's a whole artwork behind that, but I hope that gives you guys kind of an idea about what I'm talking about with that commercial. So answerthepublic.com is amazing. What a lot of people don't realize, and I only found out a few months ago myself, is that I always thought Google was the #1 search engine in the world. And it was for many years. Now for Gen Z and millennials are about to take over TikTok. TikTok is now the #1 search engine in the world. So what answerthepublic.com does, it plugs in backend API. You can go into TikTok specifically, and you can type in your niche, your main keyword, your product. What you're trying to do is I'm trying to find the most common questions on TikTok, not over the world, but on TikTok, that people are asking about my product, my space. And from there, you will then build out a library of these are the correct answers I need to put in my content, because then I'll go to more views, and everything is downstream of views. A really good example, a lady that we brought on recently, she sells bronzing tan. So it's like a cream, a tanning, bronzing it's called. So we're like, okay, well, tanning obviously is your space, so that was pretty easy. Let's have a look at Answer the Public. And some of the things that came up was like, does tanning help with acne scars? Now, there was a multitude, but we're like, wonderful. If we build content, whether we use it through our UGCs, through our customers, whether it's through ourselves that we find, that we then repurpose, but if we build content around, hey guys, were you curious if bronzing tan actually hides acne scars? Let me tell you this. And then you go into your content. So your hook in your content actually becomes the exact question that people are asking on the platform. Now, as an algorithm, what do you think the platform's going to do? When you put a bit of content up and you answer the exact questions that the consumers are asking on that platform, of course, it's going to take you out to more views, and everything is downstream of views. So Answer the Public is how you find what are these 3 things that I need to do myself, 4 things, 5 things that I can say that I can link in and answer directly what the public are asking on the platform itself. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, very interesting, and I actually love this tool, Answer the Public. I did subscribe recently, and it's fortunately one of those few tools that costs reasonably low. So actually, it's really a no-brainer for what it does. It's very cheap, so definitely recommended to use that. Again, it's answerthepublic.com, so you can get a subscription very cheaply. And yeah, I totally agree with you. Just looking at the main questions that people ask and creating content around that is just like a sound, smart marketing strategy. Yeah, nothing to say against that, obviously.
Don't try and figure it out yourself. It's all there for you. You just need to know where to look. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's already there. So yeah, so we have already data. We just need to use it in our advantage. And I love the commercial example you gave. This shows that it's a mix of art and a science, obviously. So you need to have a good understanding of branding and also using data in your favor. All right, so we have the last core pillar. What's that about?
Yeah. So number 5 is understanding followers and how it actually works, in the fact that it's a vanity metric in all areas but one. So I'll take a step back, and just for those who don't understand the platform's variance in most people understand Instagram. So if I put up a post or a piece of content on Instagram, it'll first of all go out to the amount of followers that the person who's posting it has. And that's why these influencers who have 1 million followers charge an absurd amount of money, because they're like, whether you get a result or not, we don't really care, but we do know that your piece of content will go out to our followers. And it's the brand's job to understand, does their followers actually hit the levers for and connecting with my audience? And that's that game. And that's how it's played. But TikTok is on its head. It's not run by followers, it's run by content. So if you have 1 million followers on TikTok or one, it makes zero difference. Every time you put a piece of content out, this is direct from TikTok, it goes to 2,380 people as a test bucket. 2,380, that is the exact number. So the avatar, depending on your content, is chosen by TikTok who it feels is most relevant for it. But you can hack this system. So basically, you put a bit of content up, the algorithm will be like, let me have a look at what they're talking about, what their hooks, what the visuals, everything else. And then they will send it out to 2,380 people as a test bucket that, are you worthwhile to be seeing more buckets? So the lever, again, this is from inside TikTok that you need to hit, is you need to be seen by more than 5 seconds in the first 15 seconds by more than 100 people of you being launched. More than 5 seconds in the first 15 seconds by more than 100 people of that 2,380 once you're launched. If you do, you go into bucket 2, which is 10,500 people. There are other pillars here. You go to bucket 3, which is 50,000. Bucket 4 is 400,000. And the buckets continue from there. Again, if you understand the levers to do, then you would make sure that your content hits them to get potential virality. Nothing is certain. But again, if you know the roadmap, you just make sure that you hit the correct benchmarks to get to the certain levels. But this is the key with the followers, and this is something that you must do if you don't already have. If you are just starting, a lot of people are from like the ads world, I'll just run ads and whatever else, but they don't concentrate on their own channel about the example I gave beforehand with the Nike commercial and about how they can build awareness. You need to get to 1,000 followers, because that is a metric that at that figure, TikTok then builds a mirror image audience for the 2,380. So beforehand, if you have anything under 1,000 followers, it's like, I'm just going to put it out to the 2,380 that I think is most relevant based on the content that you've put up. And the 2,380 is obviously whoever's on TikTok at the time. They just keep putting it into their funnel. So they're like, you know what, as they're swiping, you will come up. However, if you have 1,000 followers, then the algorithms most likely, the followers and the avatar and the mirror audience of that is going to be the 2,380, most likely, that it is connected with, so to speak. But this is the most amazing part, is I would have thought that, you know what, well, if I've got 1,000 followers, every time I put content, it goes to those followers. No, it doesn't. It creates a mirror audience. It creates a whole new 2,380. Your audience will see it in the end, your followers, but no, that's not the first piece it goes out to, not at all. So that's why it's super important to build up your own follower campaigns through ads, through your own creative, simply because that lever gives you a head start that every time I build content, I've got a much better chance of getting to bucket 2 because I'm showing the right people. Because again, 5 seconds, first 100 in the first 15. If you don't hit that, that's why so many people have content that like, it just got to a few hundred views. I've got so many that just went to a few hundred views, and every now and then I got to a few thousand. If you speak to most people on TikTok, that's their game. It's because all those ones with a few hundred, you missed your boat. You didn't get to be 5 seconds because the hook wasn't strong enough by more than 100 people in the first 15. So now you just stay that number. That's it. But the other ones got out of it because you hit the right levers, followers. Super important. That's core component number 5.
Wow. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I'm impressed because this is totally new to me. Yeah. So I'm actually, to be honest, I have to say I'm not an expert on TikTok at all. But so this is all great information. Yeah. Very interesting to know that, of course, the first 15 seconds are crucial. And also getting the first 1,000 followers right, it's also crucial, because if you get like whoever, maybe like a paid agency that is giving you like some bots in the first 1,000 followers, that your mirror audience will be screwed up
It's
because
bots.
yeah. So
Correct.
it's better probably to start over a new account rather
Yeah.
than,
Look, a lot
yeah.
of people, we got 14,000 followers. I'm like, how do you, oh, we paid this person, we paid that person. I'm like, so your mirror audience is actually going out to the wrong audience. You're better off to start again.
Yeah.
But look, we work in direct partnership with TikTok. So because of that, we're very lucky that we have information. But again, like TikTok wants to make you successful as well. But again, not all of it is public information, we'll say. But again, I hope that was helpful because that's from the inside that we'll say. But I'm very clear that those core components that I mentioned, which was the correct product in the most demonstrative, the UGC, understanding KLO data with the CTAs and finding out, modeling what's working, enterthepublic.com for your own channel around the building your brand and your purpose, obviously, at the same time too, that 1,000 followers. Those five core components will give you a massive head start on any competition that we mostly see is like a spray and pray approach. Like, let's just put a couple of things up and see what works, which 100 times out of 100 doesn't work. You go around in circles.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. All these five are very sound strategies and they totally make sense. And they're based on obviously research and tests and successful case studies. So definitely super helpful, very practical. So yeah, I loved our conversation so far. Because we're running out of time, I have one last question for you. I'd like you to talk about the most common mistakes that beginners make, because here we're talking about entering the shop so for the first time, so we don't want to make the rookie mistakes. You have seen lots of sellers start on TikTok, so what would be the top like one or two most common mistakes that we should avoid?
I'll give you the three, although one I have already touched on is around don't make ads, make TikToks. I had someone the other day, and even what is so obvious to me wasn't to them, is they showed me their content. We were doing some reviews, and on their content, they watermarked with their brand. They're like, I want to get my brand out there. I'm like, if you watermark your UGC with your brand, does it feel like an ad? I'm like, maybe. I'm like, you're dead. They're just going to go to the next one. Don't make ads, make TikTok. Do not sell on your own channel. Again, I mentioned this beforehand, but I'll double click on it. The CTA content is only ever by your affiliates. You want other people saying how amazing you are and buy your stuff, not you. You is everything about what is the problem space my product lives in, awareness, educate, entertain. That's it. The second common thing is not moving through on all three levers. So this is another, if we kept going through the core components, this would be number 6, so to speak. But the levers are understanding with content, there is paid, borrowed, owned. Paid is ads, borrowed is affiliates, owned is your own. You must do a mixture of all three. If you just do just affiliates, I don't want to do anything on my own channel, well then, as we mentioned before with the follower campaign, how it all connects, you go around in circles. Other people are like, you know what? I'm just going to make my own content and run ads. I don't want to deal with affiliates and just run ads all the time. Again, you'll go around in circles. You must do a mixture of all three. Paid, borrowed, owned. So that's a second common mistake that I see. The third is the consistency, in that most people have an amazing energy and be like, I haven't done it before, but I'm going to post every day. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to post every day. And they do it for a week. And then they're like, this is really hard. I'll just go to every second day. And then they go to every third day. And how it explained to me was like, if you just started dating, and I'm just starting to date a girl and I'm messaging her every day and we're all good and we're all puppy love and moving on with things. And then I'm like, for no good reason, I just start messaging her every second day. And then I start messaging her every third day. Why do you think my relationship is growing with that person? Probably not great. TikTok is exactly the same. It wants to give consistency more than anything, not the amount of content, but consistency is more important than the amount that you put up. So it's not like you can be like, oh, I'll just catch up and I'll put 7 posts up in a day and now we're good. Because it's no, to our community, they're like, they see a heap of you and then you go missing. And then you come back and you go missing. They prefer cadence and they reward cadence more downstream of views, which we've seen. So you're better off saying, I'm just going to do it once every 3 days because I can do that and I can commit to it. Then go to every second, then go to every first. Of course, the more you post, the better, providing you stay consistent. So that'd be like the 3 main mistakes I see most common.
Very cool, very cool. Interesting. Yeah, I took notes of all those. And so guys, remember that in every episode we share some complementary material. And this time, Graeme shared with us a very interesting guide, a step-by-step guide with 4 steps on how to identify and outreach affiliates on TikTok. So you will find this on our website, thesellerprocess.com. Just look for this for the show notes of this episode or in the description of the YouTube video. So you can download that for free. So very, very helpful content you shared today, Graeme. Yeah, so thank you very much. Obviously, it's very difficult to implement a lot of this. Here we got packed with lots of ideas and knowledge, but what if people would like your direct help to deal with all these elements and steps? How can they reach out to you, and how can you help them?
Sure thing. So the best way would be to jump over to our website. You can book a discovery call in to see if we're a fit for your business in what we do. So it's theuptik.com. So theuptik.com. Essentially, we are a coaching and mentoring organization. We only work with existing brands, and we also coach agencies, because there's a lot of agencies who are very good in the meta world and PPC, and now their clients want to go down the TikTok road, but they don't have those core skills. So we coach them as well, which white label all of our systems and procedures, and then they execute for their clients. As well as we work with brands, people who've just been funded from Kickstarter. Being TikTok is top of funnel, it helps all of them. So top of funnel awareness, obviously driving to the shop, driving halo effect to your Shopify or Amazon store. But yes, we have a mentoring coaching process where literally we do a deep dive on your business to try and find out where you are in the world of e-commerce. We find the levers that you need to hit, and we do one-on-one coaching. So literally it's like, right, here are the frameworks that you need to be successful, but it's never a one-size-fits-all. We work through one-on-one coaching with you piece by piece to scale your brand. And of course, everything that we do is based on successful examples. We run 3 of our own brands at the moment, so we're on the front line. I believe it's very important to practice what you preach, but that's our model. And if we can help, jump over to the website and book a call.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, thank you very much again for sharing all that. It was very insightful and very interesting. Yeah, so thank you again, Graeme. So I'm gonna wrap it up. So guys, remember, the key to success is to emulate the best. So take home the insights that Graeme just shared with us, implement it in your business, reach out to him if you need help, or go download the free materials that Graeme shared with us. You can find them on our website or in the YouTube description. So hope that you guys enjoyed today's talk, and I hope you will have a productive week, and I will see you in the next episodes. Bye. Hey entrepreneurs, I hope you enjoyed the episode and learned something from the interview. If you're serious about creating systems for your business, automating processes and building up your team, so that you can transfer the tedious daily tasks in order to focus on more high-level strategic tasks and work on your business and not in your business, I've created a guide for Amazon sellers named Capturing Systems and Creating SOPs that you can find at thesellerprocess.com/systems ebook, where you will learn how to leverage systems and SOPs in your Amazon business so that you can accomplish more by working less, optimize your time, automate and delegate tasks, and reap the benefits of being a true business owner and not simply an operator in your own business. Go download the ebook at thesellerprocess.com/systems ebook and start implementing all the tips and insights that I share with you. And leave us a review or a comment to let us know how the content we are sharing here is making an impact in your business. And have a productive week.